Hello from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. It's Good Friday, but this is not a Good Friday in America. Labeling a person or a group of people as cowards is not a trifling matter and should never be done lightly and should never be done without great deliberation and overwhelming evidence. But the Tennessee House of Representatives is the House of Cowards. And Thursday's expulsion of 2 Democrat House members was one of the most cowardly and dastardly acts in American political history. Let's be clear about this. That outrageous expulsion had nothing to do with principle of any kind. It had nothing to do with the Second Amendment. It had nothing to do with deliberative decorum, and it ultimately had nothing to do with the rules in that chamber. This was a shameless, bald-faced power grab. These members were expelled simply because it was possible under Tennessee rules to expel them. They were expelled for following their consciences and representing their constituents. They were expelled for refusing to knuckle under to the church of guns and gun worship and to the state and national tyranny of the minority. And let's not forget, these folks are in the minority. And yes, I'm going to say it, they were absolutely expelled in part because of their race. That's not a statement that I make lightly either, but the evidence very much supports this grave charge. Let's say this. These legislators were expelled in part because in 2023, they dared to get uppity. This was a political lynching. No? How was it not? I'll wait. And expelled? Expelled. If the Tennessee House found it necessary to sanction these members, there were plenty of means available short of expulsion. But ultimately, it was easier and more politically expedient to kick them out than to talk it out. Cowardly. And tens of thousands of Tennessee citizens are left without representation and have effectively been disenfranchised. Cowardly. This was an act of pure political opportunism. These members were expelled because they could be expelled. Cowardly. It was an act of cowardice perpetrated by cowardly bullies. But we all know what ultimately and inevitably happens to bullies, right? I take heart only in the knowledge that those who choose to act foolishly and move counter to the arc of justice will ultimately be rolled up underneath it and historically exposed as the cowards they are. And that's what's behind this movement. Cowardice, panophobia, fear of everything. So I pray for our country on this Good Friday and every day, because what happened in Tennessee Thursday was decidedly an un-American activity. Moving on, Friday's oxymoron of the day, Supreme Court ethics. Okay, I did write a bunch of good sports stuff for you this morning, which you can find on the sports blog at radicallyrational.com. I'll just mention one sports thing quickly here, maybe two. So the Spurs are now 21-59 on the season, but they are 1-0 in home games played in Austin. What was that the Temptations once said? Get ready and get ready. And now, introducing tonight's starting lineup for your I-35 Corridor Condors. I'm telling you, it's coming. John Rahm, man after my own heart. I always say that just because the day starts badly doesn't mean that it has to end badly. You know, you never give up on a day. So Rahm shoots a double bogey on the first hole yesterday at the Masters, then gets it together and shoots a 7 under par 65 to tie for the lead with Brooks Koepka, who used to be my favorite golfer until he went over to the murderous Saudi side. Okay, a couple of things. Our buddy, Anthony Pittman, and our partner here at Radically Rational, Anthony Pittman, has written a brilliant column just completely scalding the media for the way they manipulated and mishandled coverage of the NCAA Women's National Basketball Championship game and the aftermath of that. And yes, this is squarely on the media. Pitt has posted a brilliant guest column, so just go to the blog tab there at radicallyrational.com, scroll down, and you'll see it. And BB and I had an interesting experience last night. We went to the Neil Grazing in the Grass Tyson lecture at the Tobin last night, and it was brilliant. It's so, I'm going to go ahead and say it, damn, it felt good to be surrounded by smart people for a change. It was absolutely great. And he had so many interesting ideas, and I thought this was the most interesting. He just kind of threw out the notion that maybe all of this, and I mean all of this, is just our imagination running away with us. That it's all just something we're imagining and dreaming. You know, kind of like the last season of Dallas or the last season of Newhart. Right now, I'm taking comfort in that. Let's all do the best we can and try to be radically rational.